Tonight's going to be the most watched television programme of the year after the Queen's Jubilee. Lucy, I know you couldn't have imagined that the levels of attention this tournament is getting could have happened so quickly, but it's now about winning, isn't it?
Yeah, I do. I think that the girls have always had the additional, oh, let's inspire the nation. They've inspired the nation over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, I think, particularly after 2019. But now it's about winning, and it can be secondary that you inspire the nation. The girls are all focused on, let's get that next step, let's get into the final, and let's win it, because this is a massive... I don't think they've ever had a better opportunity. The teams that are left in the tournament, England can look around and think, we're as good as them, we can win this, the firepower we've got and how good we've been defensively. So, you know, I've no doubts that they can do it. It's just, you need small margins, you need a little bit of luck, you need, you know, a little bit of inspiration, and I think our subs are probably going to be the difference between, you know, not winning it and winning it.
All those things played a part in the game against Spain down in the quarter-final at Brighton. We've spoken about big teams being England's nemesis in the past. Norway had a great record against England before they played them in the quarter-finals of the 2019 World Cup, and then, of course, they were beaten in the group stages by 8-0. Sweden's record against England is quite formidable. In fact, it's quite worrying. But Sweden are also the second-best team in the entire world.
Yeah. So when I was young, Sweden was the place to go and play in Italy, okay, because they didn't have the stigma attached with being a young girl playing football. They just played because that was a sport that they played. So they always had that edge, especially in 1984 when they beat England in the Euros. But I think that as we've gone on, everybody now wants to play in the WSL, and that's benefited our England players. So we can look around now, the England players, and think we're on an... Before, you look at Germany and think, we're going to get beat. You turn up, we'll do our best, but we're probably going to get beat by Germany. Similar with Sweden, similar with Norway. That's not the case now, and I think that tipping point of attitude and mentality has just swung in the last couple of years or so.
A lot of the Lionesses have become household names now, and one of the big conversations has been about Sarina Wiegman not making any changes to her team. Obviously, last Tuesday or Wednesday night, Rachel Daly had a problem in that key incident with Del Castillo when she seemed to go past her a bit too easily, and Daly went jumping in. That's become almost like a national conversation now. Does Rachel Daly keep her position in the team? Do you expect Alex Greenwood to step in? Or actually, was there a little bit more to that issue that Daly was having on the left-hand side in the game against Spain than just her own performance?
Yeah, to be honest, no changes. I don't think she'll change. I think she talks about 6 games, and she doesn't like to change too much because she wants to keep the momentum.
There was a little hint in the press conference yesterday that she might be thinking about a slight tinker.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I prefer a balance, but I like Rachel Daly as a player. She was a young player when I was at Leeds. You know, she's got pace, aerial ability. She's done well so far. Obviously, a little bit fatigued going into that second half when Del Castillo got the better of her a couple of times. But as a left-back, you're looking around and you want your centre midfielder to help you. You want your left winger to come back and help if you've got a tricky winger against you. So, you know, when you're making mistakes at this level, then that's what happens. But I think that Rachel Daly has the trust of Sarina Wiegman because she's played her and started her in every game. If she's got and I think that's the advantage she probably has over the other players in that position, the athleticism, her pace, that sort of thing. And she just needs to make sure, I think, that she comes from behind the ball rather than front foot, which is what she's used to, because we know that she's a centre forward. She plays, you know, in America.
She's playing out of position.
Yeah, she's completely playing out of position, and it takes a while to get yourself into the groove of a different position, particularly when you're not left-footed. But I think that...
I was going to say, is that not the key thing, though? The fact that Alex Greenwood is not only left-footed, but she's also brilliant with set pieces. She's played in that position the whole of her career. She's recently actually been deployed as a centre-half for Manchester City. Would it not be better to have a left-footer in that position when the stakes are a lot higher? It's OK when you're playing Northern Ireland, you're playing Norway and not having a great time, when you're playing Austria. But when you're playing the better teams in the competition, do you need to make sure that any of those sort of marginal gains are exploited? Yeah,
I agree going forward, but I think defensively, when you look at how athletic Rachel Daly is in terms of defending, then that's the big decision that Wiegman's got to make, and that's why she gets paid the big bucks. What I would say about Greenwood is naturally left-footed, so she goes out and engages with the winger at the right side, and she feels comfortable going out that way. The passes that she plays out, there's a lot more balance to it. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts, but we saw Rachel Daly has to be at the top of her game if she's going to continue, you know, in that role.
Yeah, I was listening to Karen Barnsley talk about the goal that England conceded in that game. It was the first time actually they conceded in the whole tournament. And she was pointing out how the defence probably should have shifted across a little bit quicker to help Rachel Daly out. There was a problem with Lauren Hemp not giving her the right sort of cover. That sort of mistake, that sort of switching off that England done for the first time really in the tournament cannot be afforded tonight against a team that, let's be honest, that they're really good. They've got to the final of the Olympic Games and missed out to Canada on penalties. They beat England at the last World Cup in the third-fourth playoff. This is a team that ended the USA's unbeaten, 44-match unbeaten run. They haven't lost a game in 90 minutes for 34 games.
Yeah, we get carried away, don't we?
Am I trying to fill you with confidence?
No, you
what?
absolutely are, Sam, but I'm not taking any notice of you. Yeah, you're right. Sweden are an excellent team. They've not quite clicked yet, and for me, that's ominous, because if you're going to be a tournament team, your first performance cannot be your best performance, because if it is, then you're not going to win. I always said that about the England performance against Austria. As long as they get better, they're in a better chance of winning the tournament. But it's ominous for me that Sweden are defensively strong, winning by the odd goal. They look like if they do click up front, then they'll be really, really dangerous. So England have got... And like you say, that goal, that's a collective thing. You know, you can't just blame... We always look to blame someone. So look straight at Rachel Daly just because it took her on. But other things can happen within that chain of events which allows the goal to happen. To be fair, you know, conceding one goal is some going.
It's okay. We'll take one goal. All right,
just
no more. Right? Okay. Look, we've got full build-up to the Lionesses game against Sweden. Kicks off at 8 o'clock tonight. We're on air from 7 o'clock from Bramall Lane. Adrian Durham, your host. Leanne Sanderson will be alongside him as well. We're doing the commentary there from 8 o'clock tonight. Could be another long night for England and Sweden. We'll bring it to you all here on talkSPORT.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.